Okay? So here's where we were talking about this last week. Where'd my pencil go? I have lost my pencil. Oh, there it is. Okay. This inanimate object, which is the same as a computer or a spray can, okay, doesn't do anything by itself, is only controlled when you grab it like this and your brain says move in a certain way. And so you take your hand and you start to move it to draw the lines that represent what's going on. You control it, okay? If at any point in time you stop thinking about where this line has to go and you just guess and hope it goes in the right place, this changes from a pencil into it's a chainsaw, okay? And this chainsaw is all of a sudden a deadly weapon that if you don't control it, it's going to go and it's going to kill people and destroy your drawing, okay? It will. It'll wreck your drawing. Your drawing will no longer work in sequence with all your other drawings. And so it's a waste of time, and you've got to go back and correct it. That's why this tool is so vitally important to what you're going to do, and the fact that you have to control it with every single last thought that you have as you draw. Every single line you draw has to serve a purpose. It has to have a reason. And you have to think about, why did you put the line in this position? What does it represent? Is it going in the right direction? Those are all things you have to be thinking about. As soon as you stop thinking, it's going to look like crap. Okay? So now let's go to the bigger picture of things. Okay? You're in a studio and someone has hired you. Okay? You went through the process of applying for a job, you submitted a portfolio, and the person who's going to be your supervisor is the person who's looking at your portfolio, and they see this wonderful artwork that you've done and the fact that you can animate and do whatever it is that they want you to do within that department. So they're sticking out their neck by hiring you. They're saying, I have assessed this person and I believe that this person can do the job that I need them to do in this position. So they hire you and they start paying you money. And then you come into the studio and you start messing up. You don't do what they asked you to do. You don't put the lines in the right places. You think somebody's not going to notice that? You think when your supervisor reviews your work, they're not going to go, wait a second, that's not what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to look like that. You've got to change it. Like, what are you doing, man? I hired you. I thought you were going to do the job. Why aren't you doing the job? And you're going to have to answer them. And if you don't have a good answer, like, my brain is dysfunctional right now, and I'm going to smarten up right now and do it, and then you better do it. But if you can't, they're going to go, listen, this is not working out. I think you better leave, and we'll find someone else who can do it. Thanks. Well, actually, no thanks. Just get out. And they're definitely not going to pay you. Okay? So if we swing this whole equation around in reverse now, let's pretend you're the studio. You are the studio. You own the studio. You're paying the money. And so you're going to hire someone to do a job for you. The money's coming out of your pocket. If they don't do the job that you've asked them to do, are you going to pay them? No, you're going to be very upset because maybe you're on a schedule and you have to have stuff done by a certain time. If they're not doing their job, A, you're not going to pay them. B, you're going to be really mad at them because they're screwing up your schedule. And C, you're going to fire them and get someone else who can do the job, right? And that doesn't just extend through animation. It's not just, controlling your lines here. Let's just pretend that in this entire scheme of things, this project that I'm working on, let's say in the middle of the summer, I found out, oh, you know what? I'm not going to be able to get this job done. I need some help. So I'm going to hire some students to help me out with this. And so I present you the design. Let's say this is the design of the character, and I say, I want you to help me with this project. Here's the character, and I need him to stomp a bunch of buildings. And you go, okay, I can do that. And so you sit down and you start drawing your character, and you draw the character like this.
I like it better.
It's a way better design. Come on.
It's like that tree.
Is that a tree? Island tree?
It's beautiful. That is not
Okay, and so you start animating the character, and he looks like this. And you show it to me, and I go, what the heck is that? Like, that is not that. Why did you change my character design? And you go, I thought it would look better this way. And I would go, I don't think so, because that's not the design that I had approved. Okay, so in the overall process of everything, what I had to do when I was working on this project is I had to present them with a design. So I sent them this drawing here, my initial design of what the character was going to look like. And then from that, what I had to do is I had to present them with a storyboard. So this is the initial storyboard that I presented to them in what's called a story reel or a Leica reel format. So that's what I presented, and they went, great, we love the idea. Okay, go for it. So then from there, I then had to give them this version. And then from that, it went to this. And then from that, it went to this. This is the almost finished version. So now, beyond that, what they then asked me to do after that was add some drool onto his mouth. So I had to go back and animate a bunch of drool dripping out of his mouth and going all over the place. So I still haven't received the final version of it. I'm hoping to get it, within a couple of weeks or so. But you can see how, revision as they went through, changing things and adding things. We started off with the character with no arms in this version here. Okay, character had no arms here. Then what I had to do is I had to go back and add the arms in on a separate level. And then after that, I had to go back and add in all the drool on it. So this is the pile of drawings here. This is my stack of arms.
Oh gosh.
That's not more good.
And then finally dropping to his side. So that's just the arm level. And then I'll just pull out all my clean drawings here.
Now, when you animated that on the separate level, how was it on the X sheet? Like, was the arms on a separate level on
Yep.
the X sheet as well?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I just put it on a level on top. So here's my stack of drawings of the character here. Oh, one drawing's out of position there. Whoops. There's the laughing, and then it comes up. And then there's my drool level. Oh, there's my storyboard there.
Oh, there's the story.
It's in my drool. Okay, so here's all the drool. It's a little bit harder to see because it's just little droplets.
Ew.
Beautiful.
Gross.
Wow. So much.
That's nasty.
It looks more.
Okay, so that's all the spit coming out of his head. So the question that will inevitably come up with this as well is, as an animator, have I ever animated a cycloptic horned monster stomping on buildings? No, I've never done that before. Have I ever animated drool coming out of a monster's mouth before? No, I've never done that before either. It's a first time thing. You sit down, you get the assignment. In this case here, I was able to make it all up. Here's the storyboard here. So there was my initial storyboard. I just make up the actions, and I stand in front of a mirror and I acted it out. I got a sense of what my body was doing at different points in time, and I would sit down, I would key out that piece of animation, act it out some more, key out the animation, act it out some more, key out the animation, until the whole thing was finished. So I was actually physically standing in front of a mirror laughing the same way the monster was laughing, going in the first version of it with the storyboard, that's me laughing because I recorded myself laughing, and just acting it out to that timing. Okay, so that when I sit down and plot it all out, and then when I shot the pencil test, I played around with the timing a little bit, and eventually, like, I don't know if you noticed or not, but on my clean animation, let me just go back here and show you that. On my clean animation, there are no timing charts. Oh, that's the arm study. Here's all the clean stuff here. Okay, so here's all the drawings down here. See the on the side? I'll find a key. There's a key 16. There's no timing chart. What the heck? How come there's no timing chart in there? Okay. The reason there's no timing chart on it is because I didn't want to scan it and have to erase it. So what I did was I have a sheet of paper that has all my timing charts on it. Those are all my timing charts for all the key positions. Notice down at the bottom, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, they're all labeled according to their lettering system, which I went through, and some of them I added in extra ones. So I have an A1, an A2, a B, B1, C, C1, D, D1, E, E1, F, F1. So every time I put in an F1, it's an extra key that I threw in, just to create an overlapping action of some sort, or a major breakdown. Okay, so I had to play around with it. I did my initial rough keys, then I went back in and I added in secondary keys, then I went in, timed the whole thing out. You can see the timing charts here with a favor on this one here, to a half, to a quarter, to an eighth. Okay? And so I would just follow that all the way through, and I put the numbers on the side so that I knew what my drawing numbers would be, labeled them, and then just went through and in between the whole thing. Yeah.
Would you have a separate timing chart for the arms and drool?
No, the arms were done as a secondary action,
Yep.
so I was basically straight ahead animating
Okay.
as I went through, because the action of the body dictated what the arms were going to do.
Yeah.
So I was just pulling a drawing number 1, draw the arms. Drawing number 2, drew the arms.
Would the arms mirror the action, like mirror the action the monster's doing? So
Yeah.
if he's down, the arms go up, or would you say
Yeah,
that
depending on what he was doing. So when he was jumping, his arms would have to
Yeah.
trail down behind him, and then when he landed, they would crunch down and snap. So, and I put an overlapping action on it, which means that overlapping action is something that happens not at the same time as anything else.
It's leg.
It's delayed by, say, 1 or 2 drawings. So in the case of when he hits the ground down at the bottom there, his body might hit the extreme, but 2 drawings later is when his arms would hit.
Yeah.
So as he's going up, his arms are snapping down into the low position.
Yeah.
So that's why I put them on as a secondary action. And the drool was basically, again, just straight ahead. You know, you're just figuring, you know, what does drool look like? It's not like I didn't stand in front of a mirror with drool coming out of my mouth and, you know, hacking up phlegm or anything like that. It was just, you just understand the physics of the way things move. They follow arcs and they drop and speed up and slow down. So pretty straightforward, but
Yeah, because I had to do that with the Bugs Bunny, where we did a sidestep,
yep.
and his ears. We
Yeah,
had
the
to-
ears
we had to
overlap. Yeah.
Do that with the ears, where they fall in a nice little S and then they snap back. And
Yeah.
then the settle is the most difficult, because then when they settle, they end up with like
Right.
constant action.
Yeah. So you've got to really ease into
Yeah.
the end action. Yeah. So again, this is all stuff that we'll be covering throughout the entire semester, but I just want to introduce you to some of the theories behind why we have to plan this out, and just stress the idea that you're in control of the pencil. You are the one that is creating all this stuff. You're the one that dictates how it moves from one point to another. So you have to be in total control of it. So now let's just go back to our line, because there's an issue here that we have to address about the breakdown drawing. So let me just find my initial drawings here in my huge stack of paper.
What do you do if you have more keyframes than letters in the alphabet?
Sorry to say that again.
What if you have more keyframes than you have letters in the alphabet, so you get to Z?
Then you go AA,
A.
AA, BB, CC. Yeah, you just double up on it. What did I do with it? Sorry, I just thrown my paper all over the place here. Oh, here it is. Okay, so let's go back to our little line. These drawings that we have here. Okay, so we've got drawing number 1, drawing number 15, and we had drawing number 8 in there as our halfway in between. Okay, what we've done is we've taken a line here and we simply moved it straight across the screen like that. How do we know that that's the halfway position?
Because it looks in between the key position.
It's the physical half distance, but is that what I wanted the line to be doing?
Yes, because your timing chart.
It's the position that the timing charts dictate,
Doesn't mean that it's doing what you want.
but it's not necessarily doing the action that I want it to. Okay, what if I was to say I want it to do this? Start here and end up there. Okay? Simply because a line is straight here and a line is straight here does not mean that the in-between is straight up and down at the halfway position. We have to consider what is it you want it to do. So what we need to understand is what's the action that's being implied. So A, you have to act it out and understand what it is and dictate it, being the animator. But let's say I'm the animator. The number one question you would ask, if I was just to give you these two lines here and say in between it, you wouldn't just arbitrarily sit down and do this. You have to ask the question, what's the line doing? What do you want the line to do? Okay? So I might say I want it to drag, in which case you might do this. Bend it like that, so it's curving. Okay, so the bottom part is pulling, this is the motivator that's dragging on the ground, but this part here is dragging behind. Okay, because of wind resistance or something like that. Okay? Or maybe I want it to go like this. Right? It's going to lead with its head and come up like that. Or what's to say it's not going to do this? What's the path of action? So in this case here, we assume that the path of action was a straight line. But that's not always necessarily true. Path of action could go like this. It could go up and above. It could go down below. It could do a little somersault. It could bounce at the end here. Okay? Which would require keys here and here, as well as a key here where it changes direction, and a key at the high point here. So we'd need to have a new key or a secondary key to describe it, or a master breakdown, okay, which would usually be done by the animator to say, here's where I want the halfway position. I want it to look like this. Maybe he wants this to be the feet, this to be the head, and he wants this to be the head, and this is the feet. So it's actually going to flip in midair and spin. Right? So it starts off like this with the point at the top, but when it gets to the top of the arc, it flips upside down like this, and then it lands on its feet again. Right? It depends on what the animator wants. Would be an assignment that we're going to do in second semester, which is the pitch and back. So we're going to have a character, and the character is going to go into an anticipation that's basically like this for everybody. Okay? And they're going to end up in this position where they've thrown the ball. But how's the character going to throw the ball? Are they going to go like this? Are they going to go like this? Are they going to go like this? Okay. Are they going to pitch it overhand, sidearm, or submarine? Okay. Are they going to shot put it? Okay. You're still going to end up with the same key position here and the same key position here at the end, But the breakdown will dictate the flavor of how that action actually takes place. Okay, so that's something, again, you as the animator have to figure out. Later on, we're also going to have another assignment where we have a character stepping up a set of stairs. They're going to pause at the top of the thing, and then they're going to come down the stairs. They're going to go up the stairs with one emotion, and they're going to come down the stairs with a different emotion. So this is where the responsibility of how your character moves is completely up to you. I'm not going to say the character has to be happy when they go up and sad when they come down. You decide. You'll also decide on what the physical makeup of your character is. So your character may go up the stairs and they're angry. Right? We got the 4 basic emotions. Just 1 minute. We have the 4 basic emotions: happy, sad, angry, surprised. Okay, so let's say they go up the stairs and they're angry. They're going to go. You're going to have very staccato type sharp movements. If the character is sad going up the stairs, their posture is going to be different, and they're going to be much slower. They're going to be going like that. Okay? Different type of timing, different type of keys, different types of actions. And it'll be up to you to determine that. Okay? This is where understanding your animation ahead of time is important, and then actualizing it in your drawings, controlling line is so important as well.